is a public meeting and is being recorded. For those of you calling in, please ensure that you have muted your phone by pressing *6. We are going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner O'Grady.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In continuation of recognition of Women's History Month, we wanted to take time today to acknowledge Equal Pay Day, which is Thursday, March 24th. Equal Pay Day is the symbolic day dedicated to raising awareness of the gender pay gap. In the United States, this date symbolizes how far into the year the average woman must work in addition to her earnings last year in order to have earned what the average man had earned the entire previous year. The Women's Fund of Central Ohio is very focused on this issue, knowing that that pay is a building block in determining one's future. Here to speak more about this very important issue is the fund's president, Kelly Grismer. Welcome, Ms. Grismer.
Good morning, and thank you so much for the opportunity to acknowledge Equal Pay Day. To start, this is what's difficult about Women's Equal Pay Day. This year, it actually happened last Tuesday, which was March 15th. This year it happened on March 15th. Last year it happened on March 24th. It's a floating date, and that's because it is measured every year based upon census data, telling us how far into any particular year women have to work to make the same amount that a man made by December 31st of the prior year. And so the current recognition that happened last week is based upon 2020 data. And as you might imagine, that's a pretty important point because 2020 was the pandemic and the start of the effects of the pandemic. So this year's data said that it would take a composite woman, if there's any such thing, and of course there's not, but a composite woman, it would take until March 15th of this year to make what men made last year. But what we know is that there is no such thing as a composite woman. And in fact, what that takes into account is the many, many white women who are working full time. And when you factor in that population, the average pay is 83 cents to the dollar. So still far from equal, but 83 cents on the dollar. What we also know is that there is a number of equal pay days throughout the year that recognize the intersectionality and what happens when gender intersects with racism and other factors that become barriers, and especially for people who have more than one of these barriers in their life. So for women who also have a racial barrier, there are different equal pay days. And for instance, Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander equal pay day will not be until May 3rd of this year. What's interesting is last year it was in March, which means that things got worse. For Black women, equal pay day this year will be September 21st. Last year it was August 3rd. For Native women, this year equal pay day will be November 30th. Last year it was September 8th. And for Latina women, it is December 8th this year. And in the past year, it was October 21st. So what that tells you is that when intersectionality comes into play, for a composite woman, it took until March 15th to make as much as a man. But for all of the women, when you factor in their intersectionality, it is taking them almost, for Latina women, a year later to earn the same thing that a single man earned last year. And so, and what's interesting is this new data this year took into effect methodologies that actually considered the COVID impact and took into account part-time workers and seasonal workers. Very often this has been a comparison of full-time workers to full-time workers. And what we know is that many, many women work part-time, seasonally, and because of all the things that they are juggling in their lives. So the good news for this year was that March 15th was the earliest that Equal Pay Day has been celebrated in the 26 years. And when I say celebrate, I mean acknowledged or recognized. But that's not good news. It's not good news that it's earlier for anyone because the pay gap may be narrowing a little, but only for some. And what this actually reflects more is the pandemic realities, not progress, which means that based on 2020 data, more than 1.1 million women dropped out of the workforce during the pandemic. It is a she-cession, as you have heard many people say. It impacted women the most and women of color the most. There were 865,000 women that left the workforce voluntarily in September 2020 alone, simply because of the barriers of childcare and our schools not reopening. Many who left the workforce were the lowest paid. People making the least were thus making nothing at all, and they were factored out of the equation for equal pay day this year because they didn't even add to the average amount earned. And that's why, unfortunately, we saw what looks like progress and an earlier equal pay day, but really means that there were many people who weren't working at all. Remember, these are figures that usually are based upon full-time workers compared to full-time workers. Women of color were particularly affected by the pandemic, as we all know. And what the Women's Fund knew based upon research we did in 2019, about a year before the pandemic occurred, we had done research about the gender and racial wealth gap. And what we knew at that time is that women's wealth was far worse than just their pay gap. Their wealth gap showed that the average woman owns only about 40 cents for every dollar that a single male owns. And quite frankly, the gap for Black women is the worst. In 2019, they owned 2 cents for every dollar that a single man owned, 2 cents. And you can't even calculate what it is for married women because of the way that our society, once women are married, it is very hard to get any data regarding their wealth because it is combined very often with men's wealth. So we look at single women and we know that Black women pre-pandemic were only accumulating wealth at 2 cents on the dollar. So how could women navigate what happened during the pandemic and actually weather that storm? They couldn't. And so the pay gap is one lever that we look at with regard to the wealth gap, but there are many others that you all know very well. Of course, the inequitable childcare system, the lack of paid leave, the lack of adequate and accurate health care, the lack of the practice of predatory mortgage making, the way that student loans are administered. All of these things contribute, along with pay gaps, to create this very dire wealth gap for women. And if we're going to fix poverty, quite frankly, what we have to do is focus on women and helping them to accumulate wealth. It is the absolute lowest hanging fruit to improve all of our lives, not just theirs, all of our lives, because they are the ones who are the backbones of our economy and they're struggling. And if we were to have any policies that affected the number of things that I just mentioned, they would start to accumulate wealth at faster rates. And what we know is that when women accumulate wealth, they give more to their children and families. There is research to show that. They give more to nonprofits. They support climate change initiatives. There is less domestic violence. There is less workplace harassment. When there are more women in power, there is less war. So we can improve all of our lives, all of our families' lives, when we focus on improving the accumulation of wealth among all women, and particularly women of color. And investing in women, and especially women of color, is the key. And if you want to know how to do it, you just need to ask them. They are the architects of the equity in our community. And if you trust them, they will lead us to the future. So thank you for the opportunity today to talk about Equal Pay Day. And I hope next year we're talking about much brighter news.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the history and for continuing to emphasize the impact of women and our contribution to the economy, to our families, and being the backbone of the labor force. Here in Ohio, women in 2019 made up 5.9 million Ohioans, half of the population in the state is women. And I just wanted to shout out my former colleagues that I worked with in the legislature when I was there, and even now they continue to champion legislation to really get at the heart of pay equity for women. Myself and Representative Janine Boyd had a wage discrimination hotline bill, so women who, or people who felt like they were discriminated in the workplace when it comes to wages, women especially, could report that anonymously and not have fear of ongoing retaliation, which we know happens when we get into discussions of wages with our colleagues, and then report that to management. Also, there has been changes in with employers and not asking for salary history, because historically women have been paid less, and asking for salary history and basing a determination of current salary on past history does nothing but perpetuate wages not being, or people being paid fairly and equitably for the same type of work that a man would be doing. And then coming from the legal field, obviously we have this conversation all the time when it comes to being able to make partner in whether you're in a law firm and being a woman or having children and having to leave the workforce for a period of time to take care of your family directly impacts the ability to move up in a firm that's based on billable hours and things like that. And so we continue to see this happening every day. This morning there was a segment on Google, who's being sued by Black women because of discrimination in promotions and hiring, retention, and having salary increases. That was right before I left to come down here. So this is an ongoing issue. It's an ongoing fight, and continuing to raise awareness throughout the year when we come up on the different equal pay days. It's significant, but it's disheartening too that, as you pointed out, the year's numbers just show that things are getting or have been worse over the year versus the prior year. And so it will take a concerted effort to address that. And I know we do here at Franklin County when we look at, how our compensation structure is meeting the needs of our residents and our employees, but then also making sure that there's pay equity in that. So always proud of the work that we're doing here in Franklin County. And so with that, I don't know if my colleagues have comments. I'm sure they do, so I'll open it up to them.
Thank you, Madam President. I think you really covered a lot of what I wanted to say, but I want to zero in on one aspect of what you talk about, and that's salary history. And I want to share a little story, just briefly, where I found myself in a situation. More importantly, I found myself in a situation where I had an opportunity to change a decision I had made. So a couple of years ago, and I hope my former staff don't get mad at me for talking about them, but hired two young ladies. You all remember them, Jessica and Tamara. Jessica came from the city of Columbus and was in a pretty good position over there. I recruited her to my office, and I based her salary increased, as you said, on her previous salary. And so I don't remember what it was, but let's say it was, I said, okay, 15% raise or 10% raise, and so we got her. The juxtaposition is Tamara, who came with me from my legislative office at the State House, where the pay structure, as you know, has desires there to be done better. And so when she came, I basically treated it as a standard. I said, okay, 15% of what you currently make. But she had already historically had a salary, so when they came in, both with very similar qualifications, Tamara was at a lower salary than Jessica because they came from different positions and whatnot, but Tamara came, and so immediately I was at a Equal Pay for Women event. And it was the first time I was educated on that historical imbalance that you can buy into as an employer if you just base it on their previous salary and you say, okay, 15%. And I immediately went back to the office and was like, oh my God, I did this too. And so I immediately called our HR and said, I want to level the pay, and so she got an increase and it made them equal. And the moral of the story there is that, it's really about when we see it and we're able to take action and steps, being deliberate in doing that. One of the things I feel really good, and I know Deputy Administrator Bivens is here, she was part of this process very much leading it. Our Rise Together blueprint is about economic mobility for everybody, but embedded in that are core principles and values of this county commission. And I think equal pay is very much embedded in those value sets. And so I love that. I loved your presentation. I hope that you'll share that with us so that we can take a deeper look at it. But it's how I learned more about the systemic elements of pay discrimination was being at one of those events where they're talking about you can't look at just the history and say, okay, well, everybody gets 15%. You have to really pay the position for what it's worth, what you value it at, and create a standard. It doesn't matter if it's black, white, male, female. Pay it and pay it appropriately. And so we just have to be deliberate and not apologetic when it comes to righting some of the wrongs that we have to do, like we're doing in our Rise Together strategy. So thank you so much for the presentation today. We've got a long way to go to address the many issues that we have in American society around discrimination and prejudice and all the things that come in between it. But here at Franklin County, we're committed to addressing it best we can and not afraid, and we're unapologetic about what we want to accomplish and how we're going to go about it. So thank you for being part of the agenda today.
President Grismer, thanks for being here with us today. My wife and mother-in-law and my daughters have been a part of the Women's Fund and attending the Women's Fund for years and years. And so I've been, along with 7 sisters and my mother being who she was, I've grown up with this my entire life. And so this has been a part of my indoctrination and part of, the life that I've lived for forever. But I'm proud to be a part of this Board of Commissioners, previous boards of commissioners, because this is what we do day in and day out here at Franklin County. The vast majority of the clients that we serve, that this staff serves, that our administration, our organization serves here, the vast majority, I believe, of our clients are women and children, and so it is a part of who we are and what we do every day. The other thing, I guess, I don't know whether I think I should be very proud of this. I know I'm very proud of my wife, but as a man, sometimes I'm not always proud. You're not always proud, but my wife has been part of that. The opposite end of the structure, as you were referring to it earlier in your presentation. She's been making more money than me for so long. I can't even remember the last time I made more money than she did. Everybody here that knows her knows how proud I am of her. But until the legislature decides to do something about that, that's gonna continue for a while. There've only been a few years in the 26 years of our marriage that I've made more money than she has. So, and those were anomalies. She's a very impressive woman and has been the breadwinner, the one that won the lion's share of the bread in our family for a long, long time. So, and our kids know it, and they like to remind me of it. So, but anyway, appreciate you being here today and not only spotlighting this issue for all of those that are paying attention today, but also keeping us well aware and reminding us of what we need to continue to be aware of and continue to work on. It's something, as my colleagues have stated earlier, it's something that we focus on here. It's something that we try to do something about every day. It's something that we continue to need something that we need to continue to keep at the forefront of what we're working on here. So thank you.
Thank you again for being here with us today. You are absolutely welcome to stay for the rest of the agenda, but we know that you are busy and have a busy life. So if you have to hop off, we understand. But again, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
So we have another special guest this morning. Ty Marsh is a man who needs no introduction in many business, government, and nonprofit circles because he has been helping the community for decades. He was former Mayor Coleman's chief of staff, former head of the Chamber of Commerce, is the executive director at SWACO, and has held many other prominent roles. Ty is retiring at the end of this month, and we did not want to let him leave without showing our appreciation for his service. Feel free to come up, and we do have a resolution for you, but I will say a few words and allow my colleagues to say a few words also. And so it's only been a short time that I have had the pleasure of working with you. When I came to the county, you were gracious enough to provide me and my staff with a briefing and a tour of SWACO and share your ideas of the vision for SWACO going forward, but also the historical perspective as well. So unfortunately, I'm sad that I didn't have a chance to work with you longer, but appreciate all of your service to our residents in Franklin County or Central Ohio region as a whole.
Yeah.
Ty, man, when I started in politics as an elected office holder, which was, I think, I want to say
113 years ago.
basically, in 2000. I'm 50 now, so I've grown up in politics for the most part, and not like you, Commissioner O'Grady, but in a different way. But when you come from an environment like I was raised in, which was maybe apolitical, and then you're in it. My childhood memories, almost, if you will, are like when I started on city council, and you remember the people that you first interacted with. I remember what it's like being a brand new city council member at 27, and dealing with this iconic mayor in Mayor Coleman. A very strong city council. People like Matt Habash was president of council, and Charlita Tavares was on council, and we had so many others that were. Mike Mennel, who's now an appellate judge, he was on council. Mary Ellen O'Shaughnessy was on council then, and you were chief of staff, and the mayor had really began what we know today to have been a very transitional point for Central Ohio. And for all of the accomplishments that are in the Coleman administration, not just in the years you were there as chief of staff, but through his tenure, they were set up by those first years. And I really, being on the ground floor of that as a young council member, I know how much you were a part of those early days in thinking through strategy, organizing aspects of it, and you were just a pleasure to work with. If there were a few words I would use to describe you, they would be consummate public servant, always knowledgeable and homework ready, and very much willing to negotiate the conversation. And those are aspects that in politics today are sorely needed even more so. And I just want to say, as I think about my early days in politics, if I were putting together a puzzle of faces and people that I would say helped shape my own style and approach, definitely your face would be on that mosaic. And you're somebody that I look up to, somebody I think very highly of, and even working with you as the SWACO leader, even if I had a concern or issue, I just love the way you manage conflict. I love the way you manage conversation, and you don't make it adversarial, And I think that's a skill, and I think that is an art, and I think that in politics today, we just don't have as much of it, and so I truly am going to miss you. You have definitely had an impact on Central Ohio. You've had an impact on people like myself, and I know many others. And I just want to say Godspeed to you in whatever you do, Ty. I just want to say congratulations on a very outstanding career, a very long list of accomplishments. I'm sure that you ride through downtown and you get a little smile every time you see some of the work that you are able to do on the ground floor of the Coleman administration. I mean, you've done a lot of things, but I know that's where a lot of things really got going, and your leadership was critical to that. So God bless you, Godspeed to you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So, you mentioned growing up in politics, and I certainly did do that. And in doing that, I've known this guy since, I can almost remember. I would imagine Ty remembers me from probably when I was in high school.
Commissioner, before that.
So he probably has
Commissioner's
stories.
father was my political mentor.
Yeah, so.
Mine too.
So Ty probably remembers stories about me that I cared him not to remember about me. But, I remember Ty going all the way back to the Vern Rife days when Ty was running the State House. And so, I mean, his,
right?
yeah, his career is, to call it long and illustrious is not at all an understatement. He's done more in public service than about anybody I can remember, anybody that I can think of, and so on one hand, this is a sad day because we're losing a fantastic public servant. On the other hand, when I walked in and saw him here and I walked over to see him, and he had a gigantic grin on his face, I knew it was well-deserved and well-earned. This retirement has been long planned, and he will certainly enjoy his retirement years, and you and Lori, and they'll have a great retirement. But I can't remember a time in either in Columbus, in Ohio politics, or in local politics, local government, local leadership, when Ty wasn't at the forefront of what was going on here. And always somebody that I relied on, always somebody whose advice and counsel that I sought. And when the opening at Swaco came about after a very contentious and difficult time there, and couple of decades of very difficult and contentious times. And Mayor Coleman and I spoke, and Michael came up with your name. It was without any hesitation. We knew that yours was the right name to right the ship at Swaco and to do what was necessary there. And you have done a fantastic job of putting Swaco not only back together and back on the right course, but frankly, putting it in a position of respect and putting it into a place of leadership in the solid waste community. And that's just fantastic work and fantastic leadership on your part. And so your successor is in just a wonderful position now to be able to move Swaco into the future, all because of the work that you've done and the leadership that you've shown down there over the last 7 or 8 years now it's been?
Great.
8. So, thank you, sir. Not just for what you've done at Swaco, but thank you for the career that you've had and the mentorship that you've shown, not just to me and to Commissioner Boyce, but to a generation of folks that have learned from you how to do things right in this business. Thank you.
President Crowley, if I may have a point to speak briefly.
Absolutely.
Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. Ty, as President Crowley read, you've had a very impactful career. I feel like a significant chunk of my professional career has been spent working with you on some pretty significant issues. The entire tenure at SWACO, I think, pretty much coincided with me serving as chair of that body, a good chunk of that. So I got to see firsthand you navigate through some very deep waters and lead the organization to the sound place that I see it at now. But even going in reverse, back in February of 2013, Franklin County, being a very strong fiscal county, had experienced about $50 million in state budget reductions, federal budget reductions, was weathering the prior recession, and the county was at a pivotal point in order to keep our sound financial structure. The commissioners at that time convened what was known as BEAP, the Budget and Economic Advisory Panel, and you signed up like many of us do in this business. You said, okay, I will chair this group along with 8 other professionals throughout the community in working with our staff, the Office of Management and Budget, and county administration. You were able to give the commissioners at that time a fiscal blueprint that we were able to use, and we were able to adopt those recommendations. We were able to go to the bond rating agencies and outline what Franklin County planned to do to maintain its position as one of the strongest counties in the country. So that was just one example came to mind as we were looking over your career and your accomplishments. That was a pretty significant contribution to the residents of Franklin County. So I just want to wish you well. Hopefully I don't know if you're intending to volunteer more time because you seem to keep signing. I keep getting letters of you saying, I'm dropping this, I'm dropping that. But hopefully you take some time and people going to still, as long as you answer the phone, seek your counsel. So you can count on that. I know Deputy Administrator Janice in the back there, he's not going to forget your phone number. He's going to tend to lean on you. So I just want to say you've been a mentor to many. You've set a standard. You've worked in the public sector, nonprofit sector, private sector. So as Commissioner O'Grady said, job well done, sir. And wish you well and best wishes.
Thank you. Thanks. I had some prepared remarks, and now I'm kind of amongst. First of all, thank you for this honor and recognition, because I'm not a guy that likes this kind of stuff. Ken called and he said, the commissioners want to give you a resolution. You got to come down. It's like, I don't want to do that. He's like, no, you got to come down. This recognition, though, is really not just about me. It's really about everybody, and particularly people in this room. Commissioner O'Grady, who served on the SWACO board, said it was Commissioner O'Grady who gave me the opportunity to go down there and not just fix SWACO, but to transform it, because it was an agency that was not serving the public purpose, was not serving its public mission. Since then, Commissioner Boyce served on our board, and his financial acumen and kind of sense of what's right, and people made so many contributions, including helping us reduce SWACO's debt from, at that time, $130 million down to $65 million. And now more recently, Commissioner Crowley serving on our board, and I too, Commissioner, will regret the opportunity not to work with you more. Your knowledge and passion for recycling and sustainability is just tremendous. And then County Administrator Wilson, who's been on the board since I came, he was on the search committee. Ken, your steady eddiness, as I explain it, your wisdom helped me in ways that I don't think you really realized, because quite frankly, in any opportunity that I have ever pursued, I have to have the opportunity and ability to learn, and I have to have the opportunity and ability to create. Those are always my two criteria. And I learn from our youngest staff folks to I learn from many of the same people that taught you. We also have Maggie Ash, who currently serves on our board on behalf of Commissioner Crowley. Eric Janis, who has mentioned, and his wisdom and support for SWACO over the years have been so helpful. From Commissioner Boyce's office, we had Tamara Howard and Jessica Sullivan. I mean, all of you helped us take SWACO from an organization that, again, was not serving the public, turned around. Took some tough decisions once we really got the hand on it. Very tough decisions to not only just make, but to execute. The county commissioners backed us the whole way because the commissioners knew it was the right thing to do. They knew the public purpose was at hand. They knew this is what we had to do to better serve the public. And as executive director, having that support, having that understanding, having that dedication to the public purpose and public mission is absolutely critical. For SWACO, just take this moment, where are we today from where we were? We have a Franklin County landfill that's an important asset to all of Franklin County citizens. That landfill has 43 years of capacity remaining. 43 years, so that Franklin County citizens and businesses do not have to worry about where their waste is going to be disposed. You compare that to Davidson County, Tennessee, Nashville, where they have less than 10 years in their landfill capacity. They are scrambling to ensure that they have landfill capacity. And if you're scrambling that way, then you're not focused on recycling and sustainability, which we are. Our landfill, every day, there are representatives from Ohio EPA and Franklin County Health down there inspecting to make sure that we are in full environmental compliance in everything we're doing, because if we're not, that can be quite a hazard. I'm proud to report to you that we have not had any violations nor citations in over 10 years of that operation. The money that citizens and businesses have to pay to bring the waste down there, those fees have not increased in 10 years. In fact, we lowered them. So those are important pocketbook issues. So we've done that. Your landfill, which, by the way, was initially created by the commissioners. It was the commissioners' vision and foresight that actually initiated the Franklin County Sanitary Landfill. It's a great asset. But if you're going to have a public asset, you got to do more than just have a landfill. You got to be recycling. You got to do sustainability. You got to do all those other complementary issues in a circular economy. Our recycling rate in Franklin County now went from 32% to 51%. That's one of the highest rates in the Midwest. And what does that mean? That means of over the 2.2 million tons of waste generated in Franklin County every year, more than half of that is not going into landfill. More than half of that is going into recycling and repurposing. That's something to be proud of, but yet we want to take it to 75%. We've done that in environmental ways to strengthen the environment. Our landfill gas to energy system is taking the methane gas that otherwise would be flared on site and cleaning it and putting it in pipelines and sold to local businesses. Mount Carmel Grove City Hospital uses the gas from the landfill to help power their facility. And because of that, we're not flaring that, and the air is much cleaner in that portion of Franklin County. We are turning our closed landfill on the old golf course into a solar energy park that's going to generate 50 megawatts of energy, enough to power 5,000 Columbus households in the next few years. So while we've been doing all that, what has emerged is the economic opportunity that comes with all that. And Jim Schimmer's not here today, but Jim is the one who really had that vision long before SWACO saw it. But we know now in our region there are over 400 companies that are in the recycling business employing 5,000 employees. It's a $2 billion economic impact industry right here in Franklin County. You know that the second largest user of recycled materials in the United States is here in Franklin County. Advanced Drainage Systems makes all their piping with recycled materials. Do you know that in the New Albany Beauty Park, a company that came here 10 years ago with 60 employees, and what they do is they make the containers for Bath and Body Works, soaps and lotions. They make that with recycled materials. They started 10 years ago with 60 employees. The demand for their product has expanded to the point where that company now has 1,100 employees in New Albany. Those are the types of economic opportunities that we want to capture and we want to bring here to Franklin County, and that's why we got the Green Economy Business Park, because we think that is the opportunity for these kind of companies that are growing. Throughout this whole effort and throughout all that we've gone through, what I'm very proud to report to you is that in Franklin County, solid waste has gone from a problem to be solved to an economic and environmental opportunity to be realized. I'm very proud of our team and everybody's effort to help get us there. The challenge now is to seize that opportunity in the future. That's your responsibility, to make sure that SWACO, one, doesn't go back to its old ways of not serving the public, but two, not be satisfied that we've come this far, isn't this great, but to really seize this opportunity, to seize this environmental opportunity, to seize this economic opportunity. It's been a great ride for me in everything I've done. It's been a great ride to work with all of you. And yes, Commissioner, I do have some stories on all of you except Commissioner Crowley that I will not share. But I thank you for this recognition, but it's really a recognition of everyone. And I look forward to still seeing with you. But yeah, I'm going to be up there in Clintonville and just kind of taking care of myself. And my wife, who was going to come today, she had an accident. She fell, so she couldn't come today. But I think she's listening or watching today. So thank you very much for this.
Absolutely.
And before we present that to you, I just want to say the funny part to me is that you look exactly the same when I started on city council. You had the same color hair, and I feel like you had that tie back then too, but I'm not going to say anything, about that. But man, it's just a pleasure to know you, my friend.
It's that Appalachian upbringing, Route 23 kid from Scioto County. Yeah.
Oh, did I knock that over? I ended up drinking that.
All right. Thank you again, Ty, for a lifetime of service, which has spurred economic development and positive improvements for Central Ohio. All right. On to the agenda. If I could get the approval of minutes for March 15th, 2022, general session, and the March 17th, 2022 briefing session.
I'll move for the approval of the minutes.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley?
Yes.
Thank you. The minutes have been approved.
Thank you. First up, coroner.
Resolution number 20922. Resolution authorizing an agreement with Barton Associates, a forensic services consulting firm for locum physician services in the amount of $500,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Bev Harper, Fiscal Officer for the Coroner's Office. I'm representing Dr. Ortiz. This resolution will authorize the coroner to execute an agreement with Barton Associates, who will provide us locum physicians with the specialty training to perform autopsies. These services are necessary due to the current deficit in forensic pathologists currently at the Coroner's Office. The term of this agreement should be for 1 year and not to exceed $500,000. Pending any questions, we respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 20922.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 20922 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Next, we have Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 21022. Resolution authorizing the Fifth Amendment to the intergovernmental agreement between the Franklin County Board of Commissioners, the Franklin County Engineers Office, and the Franklin County Transportation Improvement District in the amount of $1,158,670.
Good morning, Commissioners, County Administration. My name is Fritz Crozier, Chief Deputy of Engineering for County Engineer Cornell Robertson. As mentioned, this resolution authorizes an update to the intergovernmental agreement between the Franklin County Board of Commissioners, Franklin County Engineer, and the Franklin County Transportation Improvement District. This is the fifth update to the agreement, which was initially approved by the board on November 26, 2019, and authorizes an amount not to exceed $1,158,670 for reconfiguration of the Front Street parking garage due to impacts of the 4R, 6R Columbus Crossroads project. This project is phase 3 of the TID's Franklin County Parking Facilities Improvement Project. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21022.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21022 has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, Drainage Engineer.
Resolution number 21122. Resolution authorizing a transfer of funds for the Stormwater Management Program.
This resolution authorizes a transfer of $943,687 from the general fund to the Stormwater Management Fund to cover operating and capital improvement expenses for the drainage engineer for the first half of 2022. Any questions, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21022.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Was that 210 or 211?
211.
Sorry,
Commissioner
211.
Yeah.
I apologize, 21122. I'm sorry, if there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21122.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21122 has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have Engineer. And we have a public hearing. Can the clerk please read the public hearing?
Vacation of a portion of James Road, County Road number 97, City of Columbus, Franklin County, Ohio, viewed, engineered to file report by March 29th, 2022.
Thank you. I would like to open the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this public hearing? Seeing none, I would like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 21222, vacation of a portion of James Road, County Road number 97, City of Columbus, Franklin County, Ohio, viewed, engineered to file report by March 29th, 2022.
Commissioners, a petition was filed with the board with the board by the Columbus Regional Airport Authority praying for the vacation of a portion of James Road within the city of Columbus. This is the second step in the legislative process. This resolution confirms that the proposed vacation has been viewed and establishes a date of April 5th, 2022 as the final hearing. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21322.
Second.
God, 21222. Why is this?
Well, because it's not on there.
Yes.
Oh, it's not on my
missing.
thing,
That's why I did that.
21222.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
It's missing.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21222.
Second.
Moved
There
and
we go.
seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21222 has been adopted.
Hey, Clerk, Madam President, may I ask, is that just a glitch? Why that's not on there, that number in the system or something?
It should be on the second page, Commissioner, so when there is a public hearing, the number will not appear until after. I do apologize if it's not on your copy.
Yes, no, I just wanted you to check the system because it's not shown on the.
It is on the published version and the version that you
Okay.
worked with. It might not be on your version. I do apologize about that.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, thanks.
Resolution number 21322. The 2022 resurfacing program for Franklin County, Ohio declared necessary and hearing fixed for Tuesday, April 12th, 2022 at 9 a.m.
Commissioners, as referenced, this resolution declares necessary the 2022 county resurfacing program. The county engineer has identified 23 roads throughout the county in need of resurfacing and included them in this year's program. Approval of this resolution will authorize the engineer to prepare plans, specifications, and estimates for the project. Any questions, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21322.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21322 has been adopted. Resolution number 21422. Parsons Transportation Group Incorporated, consulting engineers appointed to assist the Franklin County engineer by providing engineering services for the West North Broadway 1.18 bridge over Olentangy River, CLI-CR 333-1.18 improvement project, Clinton Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $246,677.
This resolution seeks approval of a contract with Parsons Transportation Group, Inc., consulting engineers to assist the Franklin County engineer by providing engineering design services for the West North Broadway Bridge over Olentangy River improvement project. This project is located in northwest Franklin County in Clinton Township and seeks to rehabilitate the existing bridge structure, but also add a shared use path across the bridge. Parsons is a local engineering firm and was chosen via the engineer's qualifications-based selection process. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21422.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21422 has been adopted. Resolution number 21522. The Manic Smith Group Incorporated, consulting engineers appointed to assist the Franklin County engineer by providing on-call construction inspection services, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $120,000.
As mentioned, this resolution seeks approval to enter into a professional services contract with the Manic Smith Group Construction Management Consultants appointed to assist the Franklin County engineer by providing construction inspection services. Manic Smith Group will assist with the upcoming Elliott Road and Hayden Run Road Drainage Improvement Project, which is located in northwest Franklin County in Washington and Brown Townships. Manic Smith was chosen via the qualifications-based selection process and is a local firm. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21522.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21522 has been adopted. Resolution number 21622. Resolution authorizing a contract with Affiliated Resource Group Incorporated, consultant to provide expert consulting services to support multiple information system initiatives in the amount of $69,135.
Resolution seeks approval to enter into a professional services contract with Affiliated Resource Group for IT services. Affiliated provides technical assistance with our network infrastructure and security systems, and Affiliated is an SBE certified local firm. Any questions, I would ask for your approval.
If there are no questions or comments, I'll move approval of Resolution 21622.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21622 has been adopted. Resolution number 21722, resolution authorizing the Franklin County engineer to enter into a contract modification with Ribway Engineering Group Incorporated for the Hayden Run Road 6.74 over Scioto River Improvement Project, Norwich Township, an increase of $103,915.78, and for a revised contract amount of $194,722.60.
Commissioners, as mentioned, this resolution seeks approval of a contract modification with Ribway Engineering Group for the Hayden Run Road 6.74 over Scioto River Improvement Project. The engineer's office has been awarded an additional $500,000 in project funding through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Clean Ohio Trails Fund for this bridge rehabilitation project in order to incorporate a shared use path across the bridge, which will construct a vital link in the Hayden Run Central Ohio Greenways Trail. Due to the addition of the shared use path across the bridge and increase in the project scope, the contract modification is necessary in order to complete engineering. Pending any questions, I would ask for the board's approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21722.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21722 has been adopted. Resolution number 21822. Report first of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Comish Street, Voss Road, County Road number 233 from Lockbourne Road, County Road number 13 to Canal Road, Township Road number 247, Improvement Project, Hamilton Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $18,464.
This resolution seeks compensation for two property owners abutting the Commerce Street, Bouse Road from Lockbourne Road to Canal Road Improvement Project. This project is located in southeast Franklin County and Hamilton Township and seeks to improve safety in the vicinity of the Norfolk Southern and CSX Railroad bridges. We've negotiated with the property owners and compensation is based on fair market value. Pending any questions, I would ask for the board's approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21822.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21822 has been adopted. Resolution number 21922. Report first of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of owners of property abutting the Kanawha-Roslyn Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project in the amount of $51,000.
Commissioners, this final resolution on behalf of the Franklin County Sanitary Engineer seeks compensation for two property owners abutting the Kanawha-Roslyn Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project. County engineer and the sanitary engineer have negotiated with the property owners, and compensation is based on appraised fair market value. Pending any questions, I would ask for the board's approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 21922.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 21922 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fritz. Have a great day.
You too.
Next, we have prosecuting attorney.
Good morning,
But-
Commissioners.
If I may. You're okay. Resolution number 22022. Resolution authorizing the prosecuting attorney to enter into a contract with forensic pathologists who are no longer employed by the Franklin County Coroner for professional services.
Again, good morning, Commissioners. Just to get this matter before you.
This resolution authorizes the Franklin County Prosecutor to enter into contract with the outgoing pathologist. As you well know, there are a number of pathologists that have since left the coroner's office. In order to continue the service to Franklin County residents for the number of cases that they were involved with, we are securing a contract so that they are able to come back and testify on cases that they were involved with while being employed as a pathologist in the coroner's office. Many of these cases, as you know, were homicide cases, and those continue to be pending, and we need this contract in place to assure their attendance and their continued participation in the prosecution of these cases. We'd ask for approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 2/2022.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 2/2022 has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have child support enforcement.
Resolution number 22122, resolution authorizing an independent contractor agreement with Cassandra Young for program consulting services in the amount of $6,890.
Good morning, Commissioners. Susan Brown, Director, representing the Child Support Program. This resolution requests your consideration in approving the final renewal of an independent contractor contract with Cassandra Young beginning April 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2022, in an amount not to exceed $6,890. The contract follows federal guidelines for professional consulting services and is eligible for 66% federal financial reimbursement. The purpose of the contract is to reimburse Cassandra Young for professional consulting services associated with the development of behavioral science training materials and modules, providing training presentations to staff, and transferring knowledge in behavioral diagnosis and design and behavioral science interventions to our social program developers and to our staff. Pending any questions, I request approval of this resolution.
It's really great to see you, Director.
Thank you.
If there are no other comments or questions, I will move approval of Resolution 22122.
And I'll second both the resolution and your comments about, good to see you back, Director.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 22122 has been adopted. Resolution number 222-22, resolution authorizing an IVD contract with the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas Division of Domestic Relations and Juvenile Branch in the amount of $1,282,863.51.
This resolution requests your consideration in approving a child support enforcement interagency agreement with the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas Division of Domestic Relations and Juvenile Branch beginning February 1st, 2022 through January 31st, 2023 in an amount not to exceed $1,282,863.51. And the purpose of this contract is to reimburse the court for expenses associated with the processing, adjudication, and creation of judgment entries on child support initiated cases. The Franklin County CSEA and the Franklin County courts have had a long history of successful collaboration in the establishment and enforcement of child support orders. Pending any question, I request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 22222.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 222-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 22322, resolution authorizing Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency to enter into a 4D contract with the Franklin County Data Center in the amount of $355,397.82.
This resolution, as was stated, requests your consideration in approving the Child Support Agency's interagency agreement with the Franklin County Data Center beginning March 1st through February 28th, 2023 in an amount not to exceed $355,397.82. The purpose of this contract is to reimburse the data center for expenses associated with providing information technology services to child support. The statewide case management system maintained by the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services is the support enforcement tracking system. This system is independent of that system. This system utilizes services of the data center related to the use of county data systems, machine use, professional services, access to the court's Franklin County Justice System, storage and maintenance of our internal on-base and electronic document management systems, along with the agency's public website. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I will move approval of Resolution 22322.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 22322 has been adopted. Resolution number 22422, resolution authorizing an a 4D contract with the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office in the amount of $422,453.67.
This resolution requests your consideration in approving a child support interagency agreement with the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office beginning March 1st, 2022 through February 28th, 2023, in an amount not to exceed $422,453.67. The purpose of this contract is to reimburse the Prosecutor's Office for expenses associated with reviewing, preparing, and prosecuting eligible 4D cases pursuant to 2919.21 of the Ohio Revised Code or criminal non-support. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
If there are no other comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 22422.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 22422 has been adopted.
Thank you. And likewise, really great to see you, Director.
Thank you very much. It's very wonderful to be back, and thank you to everyone for all of your kindness and support while I was out.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful day.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have community partnerships.
Resolution number 22522, resolution authorizing a COVID-19 recovery grant to Franklin County Public Health for the support of restoring our own through transformation in the amount of $425,000.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. This is Curtis Brown, Community Partnerships Coordinator. This morning's resolution is regarding the partnership with Franklin County Public Health for the support of restoring our own through transformation, which is also known as ROOT. ROOT's perinatal support model, or also known as the doula model, provides innovative interventions that target the improvement of birthing conditions and outcomes for Black families that have been disproportionately impacted by maternal and infant mortality and morbidity. This funding will provide perinatal health, wellness, advocacy, and support, prenatal visitation, childbirth education, basic clinical assessments, lab reviews, case management, and other pertinent services. Joining us this morning from Franklin County Public Health to discuss how these funds will benefit this organization is Assistant Health Commissioner and Director of Prevention and Wellness, Alex Jones. After the Assistant Health Commissioner's remarks, if there are no comments or questions, we respectfully request the approval of this resolution. And Alex, I'll turn it over to you.
So much more, Curtis, and good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. So Curtis explained it very well. We're very excited to enter into this partnership with Restoring Our Own Through Transformation. At Franklin County Public Health, equity is our one goal, and working with an organization like ROOT will help us get to that goal of eliminating disparities as it relates to both individuals who are pregnant, postpartum, and their infants. So in partnership with ROOT, we would be able to serve up to 50 Franklin County families and being able to provide this service specifically to individuals, the Black family unit. So happy to answer any questions, but really for us, this is really an extension for us as our current maternal infant health strategy. So very excited for this opportunity.
Thank you, Alex, for being here today. I'm excited about this partnership as well. I know you all are. Literally just opened up an email that I got from Groundwork that has an article from the Washington Post about trauma in infancy and how it can have a lingering effect throughout life. And so this was it's a spurring discussion in our prenatal to 3 learning community that's a part of NACO, the National Association of Counties. And it's so imperative that we really address maternal mortality and infant mortality at the root. And usually it is the fact that birthing people go into a healthcare system that doesn't treat everyone fairly and equitably, and racism and discrimination is one of the major factors that contributes to maternal deaths and infant deaths. And the work that Root has been doing in their advocacy at the local level and at the state level to really try to turn the tide and address these disparities in a holistic way, is in an attempt to just save lives. And so I appreciate all the work that Root is doing. They have never lost a mother. They have never lost a baby. And those are the outcomes that we seek. And so I think it's great that you all have a partnership with this community-based organization. I look forward to you all growing your relationships with CBOs that are doing the work in the community, working with the families, not just during pregnancy, but after, where we see where complications arise, where we see, infant deaths happen, and they continue to have, and doulas, as they don't take the place of medical professionals. They are part of a birthing team. They are part of the core structure of those that support families in the postnatal stage. And so partnerships like this is what I'd like to see going forward, because we know that it will get us to a place where we have 0 infant deaths in Central Ohio and we have 0 moms die. So thank you. I don't know if my colleagues have any questions, but thank you again, Alex, for being here.
No, good stuff. If there's no further comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 225-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 225-22 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Curtis. Have a wonderful day. Next, we have Economic Development and Planning.
Resolution number 226-22. Resolution authorizing an economic development agreement with the Greater Columbus Sports Commission to encourage economic development and tourism through the attraction, retention, and promotion of sporting events on behalf of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners in the amount of $200,000.
Good morning, Commissioners, Administrators, and staff. My name is Emmanuel Torres. I'm Assistant Director of Economic Development and Planning. And this resolution is to authorize the 2022 annual partner contract agreement for the amount of $200,000 between Franklin County and the Greater Columbus Sports Commission, hereinafter referred to as the Sports Commission, to encourage tourism through the attraction, retention, and promotion of sporting events in Franklin County. The Sports Commission, a division of the Greater Columbus Convention and Visitors Bureau, operating within Franklin County, is a catalyst, driving collaborative efforts in attracting and hosting a wide variety of sporting events while playing a significant role in promoting tourism and visitation to Franklin County and the Greater Columbus area. During the 2021 grant program year, the Sports Commission was able to accomplish the following. It had 94,905 hotel room nights booked, 68 sports events were hosted and were serviced, and an additional 108 leads were developed for future events and activities. And as part of this agreement, the Sports Commission will continue and further expand their marketing, bidding, and sales activities to bring sporting and competitive events to Franklin County. They will also continue the marketing, bidding, and sales programs to attract visitors and participants from the region, the country, and the world to Franklin County in order to infuse our local economy. Joining us today from the Greater Columbus Sports Commission is Executive Director Linda Logan. Should there be any additional inquiries or questions with respect to the great work being done at the Sports Commission? Pending any questions, I respectfully request the approval of this resolution.
Ms. Lindell?
Yeah, I was going to say thank you, Emmanuel. Did Linda have anything to add? Is she still on?
Just an exciting
Oh.
time to start seeing the comeback of sporting events in Columbus. Got U.S. artistic swimming this weekend, synchronized swimming, and the national championships are here in Columbus this weekend. So there's always Columbus and Franklin County have no off season, is what we like to say. So we always appreciate all your efforts and appreciate this moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
All right, well, if there are no further comments or questions, I will gladly make a motion to approve Resolution 22622.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 22622 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 22722. Resolution authorizing the First Amendment to the Career-Oriented Continuing Education and Placement Training Grant Agreement with the National Center for Urban Solutions to support their commitment to provide workforce training and job replacement services for Franklin County residents in the amount of $250,000.
Commissioners, this next resolution would authorize, as stated, the First Amendment to this Career-Oriented Continuing Education and Placement Training Grant Agreement, which was entered into by the Board of Commissioners and the National Center for Urban Solutions, which I'll refer to here on as NCUS. The grant agreement was originally approved in September of 2020 for the amount of $250,000 to support workforce training and job placement services for Franklin County residents. Due to the continued challenges and concerns related to the COVID-19 pandemic, NCUS experienced unexpected delays in fully carrying out certain sections of that agreement, related more specifically to placement of the trainees and providing invoicing to the county for the grant funds within the deadlines provided in its original agreement. The agreement expired in December 31st, 2021. NCUS is currently in the final phase of this program. As provided in the agreement, NCUS has enrolled 50 candidates. They committed to. Of those, 40 have completed the training program and 37 have been placed and or have received pay increases. This amendment will allow NCUS to extend the term of the grant agreement, thereby providing additional time to, 1, carry out the job placement of candidates, and 2, provide the necessary invoicing to the county for the release of grant funds. The amendment grant period will run from its original start date, which is October 1st of 2020, through an amended date of June 30th, 2022. Joining us today from NCUS, we have Harry Gregory, who's the Senior Vice President, and accompanying him, some of his staff, Kristen Munster, who's the Vice President, Thomas Gunn, Workforce Manager, Michael Storey, Enrollment Specialist. And as a highlight on the program, I believe we might have a success story, who's one of the trainees who's gone through the program, and Mr. Joseph Onoja, who was previously unemployed, completed a program, an internship with Nationwide Children's for 6 months, and recently gained full-time employment, earning over $23 per hour. Pending any questions, I respectfully request the approval of this resolution.
So, is Joseph on today?
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. So I got introduced to NCUS by a friend who told me about the program they run at a time when I didn't have a job. I got to, and I had the intention of starting an IT career, and NCUS provided me that opportunity. I went on to do my AWS program and then the CompTIA A+ program. And through the workforce team, I was able to get an internship position with the Nationwide Children's Hospital. And just recently, I've been hired as a full-time employee in the IT department, earning about $23 plus. Going from being unemployed and getting to the level I am now. And I'm looking forward to running more programs with them as I progress in my career. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph.
All right. If there are no further comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 22722.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 22722 has been adopted. Resolution number 22822. Resolution authorizing the assignment and assumption agreement of Community Reinvestment Area Agreement between Franklin County, the Columbus Regional Airport Authority, DRCS LLC, and DRCS Rail Site 7 LLC.
Commissioners, this next resolution will authorize a community reinvestment area, hereby referred to as CRA, an assignment and assumption agreement between Franklin County, the Columbus Regional Airport Authority, DRCS LLC, and DRCS Rail Site 7 LLC for the transfer of approximately 32 acres of vacant land in the Canal Boss CRA. In 2006, the Board of Commissioners adopted a resolution which designated the rail campus at the Rickenbacker Global Logistics Park, located between Rickenbacker Parkway, Boss, Canal, and London Groveport Roads, as the Canal Boss CRA. The Board of Commissioners subsequently adopted the resolution to enter into a community reinvestment area agreement with the Columbus Regional Airport Authority for the entirety of the rail campus. Thereafter, in 2017, the Board of Commissioners adopted yet one last resolution, which both approved the expansion of that CRA and the execution of an amended and restated agreement, which, among other things, extended certain deadlines and added DRCS LLC to become the developer as a party to that agreement. And for further clarification, DRCS is a subsidiary of Duke Energy. The CRA agreement grants real property tax exemption for the development of a series of industrial facilities and related site improvements in the Canal Boss CRA. And the purpose of this resolution is to assign the benefits and obligations of the amended and restated CRA agreement to DRCS Rail Site 7 LLC upon the transfer of the property, which intends to build a speculative approximately 518,900 square feet industrial facility on the site. Pending any questions, I would respectfully request the approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 22822.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce? Resolution number 22822 has been adopted, noting Commissioner Boyce's abstention. Resolution number 22922. Review of petition to annex 27.556 acres, more or less, for Madison Township to the City of Columbus, case number ANX-10-22.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jenny Snap, Chief Operating Officer, Franklin County Economic Development and Planning. This resolution is to consider an expedited Type 2 annexation petition of 27.556 acres from Madison Township to the City of Columbus. The area to be annexed includes property located at 5200 Winchester Pike. That's north and east of Winchester Pike, west of Bryce Road, and south of Shannon Road. Petition was filed by agent and attorney Thomas Hart of Painter and Associates, and we do have in attendance Nathan Painter, if you have any questions, on behalf of the owners, Straight Real Estate LLC 1 and Arnold Estate Investments 2 LLC. 67% of the site's perimeter is contiguous with Columbus, and the city passed ordinance number 0552-2022 on February 28, 2022, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved, and a statement regarding incompatible land uses and the zoning buffer. The petition meets all the statutory requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, I would request your approval of this resolution.
There are no comments or questions. I'll move approval of Resolution 22922.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley.
Yes.
Resolution number 22922 has been adopted. Resolution number 23022, resolution to authorize the detachment of 0.31 acres more or less from the City of Columbus, case number ANX-14-22.
This resolution to consider a detachment of 0.31 acres from the City of Columbus to Perry Township. The resolution will allow for the removal of land from the municipal boundary of the City of Columbus. The area to be detached includes property located at 950 Larkstone Road, that's north of Larkstone Drive, west of Linworth Road, and east of Godown Road. The petition was filed by the owners Sheila Reisinger and Gary Flore on behalf of themselves. Chet Cheney, Perry Township trustee, and Beth Beatty, Perry Township administrator, are in attendance should you have any questions. And for the record, they will also in attendance for the next two detachments as well. A petition signed by the majority of the electors owning land in the territory to be detached, requesting detachment under section 709.38 of the Ohio Revised Code, accompanied by an accurate plat of the area to be detached, and ordinance from the City of Columbus consenting to the detachment, was filed with Franklin County on March 11, 2022. Council of the City of Columbus authorized the detachment by ordinance number 2524-2021, passed on October 18, 2021. Petition was filed in accordance with and satisfies all the criteria contained in section 709.38 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 23022.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley.
Yes.
Resolution number 23022 has been adopted. Resolution number 23122, resolution to authorize the detachment of 2.15 acres more or less from the City of Columbus, case number ANX-15-22.
This resolution is to consider detachment of 2.15 acres from the City of Columbus to Perry Township. The resolution will allow for the removal of land from the municipal boundary of the City of Columbus. The area to be detached includes property located at 1551 West Case Road, that's south of West Case, west of Go Down, north of Bethel Road, and east of Durker Road. The petition was filed by owners Christopher Haddad and Carolyn Haddad on behalf of themselves, and a petition signed by a majority of the electors owning land in the territory to be detached, requesting the detachment under section 709.38 of the Ohio Revised Code, accompanied by an accurate plat of the area to be detached, and ordinance from the City of Columbus consenting to the detachment, was filed with Franklin County on March 11, 2022. Council of the City of Columbus authorized the detachment by ordinance number 2524/2021 on October 18, 2021. The petition was filed in accordance with and satisfies all the criteria contained in section 709.38 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, I would request your approval of this resolution.
There are no comments or questions. I'll move approval of Resolution 23122.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crowley.
Yes.
Resolution number 23122 has been adopted. Resolution number 23222. Resolution to authorize the detachment of 1.071 acres more or less from the City of Columbus, case number ANX-16-22.
This resolution is to consider detachment of 1.071 acres from the City of Columbus to Perry Township. The resolution will allow for the removal of land from the municipal boundary of the City of Columbus. The area to be detached includes property located at 2958 Snoffer Road. That's north of Snoffer Road, west of Smoky Row Road, south of Interstate 270, and east of Skyline Drive East. The petition was filed by owner Saber Juma on behalf of himself. A petition signed by a majority of the electors owning land to the territory to be detached, requesting detachment under section 709.38 of the Ohio Revised Code, accompanied by an accurate plat of the area to be detached, an ordinance from the City of Columbus consenting to the detachment, was filed with Franklin County on March 11, 2022. Council of the City of Columbus authorized the detachment by ordinance number 2524, 2021, passed on October 18, 2021. The petition was filed in accordance with and satisfies all the criteria contained in section 709.38 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, I would request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 23222.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 23222 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution number 23322. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Sharon M. Markham at 29 Volney Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43228.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Julissa Terushavo, Administrative Assistant 2 with EDP. Sharon M. Markham received on September 30th, 2010 from Franklin County a home loan for $15,000 on real estate, commonly known as 29 Volney Avenue, Columbus. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied. The property taxes are paid and current, and I respectfully request that Commissioners sign the discharge of mortgage on this property.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 23322.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 23322 has been adopted. Resolution number 23422. Resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Wendy M. Wiseman at 1701 Victor Avenue, Obetz, Ohio, 43207.
Wendy M. Wiseman received on May 6, 2013 from Franklin County a home loan for $15,000 on real estate, commonly known as 1701 Victor Avenue, Obetz, Ohio. The requirements of the housing loan have been satisfied. The property taxes are paid and current, and I would respectfully request the Commissioners approve the discharge of mortgage on this property.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 23422.
Second.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 23422 has been adopted.
Thank you. Next, we have Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 23522. Resolution authorizing receipt of Franklin County's fiscal year 2020 Title V Community Prevention Block and Planning Grants and the authorization of the President of the Board of Commissioners to sign all acceptance documents and waivers related to the Title V programs in the amount of $181,000.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administrators. Provide Director for the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. This resolution is presented to the Board of Commissioners for authorization to accept the FY 2020 Title V Community Prevention Block and Planning Grants in the amount of $181,000. This block award will consist of $171,000 and the planning award will consist of $10,000. In alignment with directives from the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention and Ohio Department of Youth Services, grant funds will be used to develop and/or enhance delinquency prevention programs that focus on helping youth avoid involvement in delinquency through reducing risk factors and enhancing protective factors in their schools, communities, and families. All sub-grant award agreements will be brought forth to the Board of Commissioners for formal approval. Lastly, this resolution requests authorization for the President of the Board of Commissioners to sign grant-related acceptance documents and waivers related to the Title V grant programs. Being any questions, we would ask approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, I'll move approval of Resolution 235-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 235-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 236-22. Resolution authorizing receipt of the Franklin County FY 2021 Services Training Officers Prosecutors Stop Violence Against Women Act Block Grant Award and granting authority to the President of the Board of Commissioners to sign all acceptance documents and waivers related to the grant program in the amount of $681,942.44.
This resolution is presented to the Board of Commissioners for authorization of the Stop Violence Against Women Act in the amount of $681,942.44 from the Office of Criminal Justice Services as a pass-through from the Federal Office of the Violence Against Women. Grant funds will be used to enhance prosecution, law enforcement, and victim services targeted to female victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, and dating violence. Per the federal directives, Stop Violence Against Women Act funds must be allocated using the following formula: 25% for prosecution enhancement, 25% for law enforcement enhancement, 30% for victim services, 5% for court services, and the remaining 15% is discretionary. Additionally, per OCJS, the OVW requirements, 10% of the victim service allocation must be awarded to a culturally specific organization. FY 2020, and with the calendar year of 2021 implementation period, VAWA funding supported direct services to 5,516 victims and training for 1,305 professionals and volunteers. Additionally, 2,939 cases were able to be taken on by a specialized prosecution section of the Columbus City Attorney and Franklin County Prosecutor offices. The FY 2021 VAWA Block Award reflects a 3.3% increase, or $21,733.69 over the FY 2020 award. The award period is beginning January 1, 2022 to December 31st of 2022. Subrecipient awards will be brought before the commissioners under separate resolution. Pending any questions, we would ask approval of these resolutions.
There are no comments or questions. I'll move approval of Resolution 236-22.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 236-22 has been adopted. Resolution number 237-22. Resolution authorizing an amendment to a memorandum of understanding with Columbus Public Health for supportive services, including issuance of vital records for individuals served through the Rapid Resource Center in the amount of $10,000.
On October 5th, 2021, pursuant to Resolution 0789-21, Franklin County Board of Commissioners authorized a MOU with Columbus Public Health for supportive services, including issuance of vital records for individuals released from the Franklin County Jail and visiting the Rapid Resource Center operated by the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. As part of the original agreement, up to $20,000 was authorized to support vouchers for birth certificates for justice-involved individuals receiving services through the RRC. Lack of proper identification documents continues to serve as a significant barrier for justice-involved individuals and can delay and or even prevent access to critical services like treatment, employment opportunities, obtaining insurance benefits. This amendment requests additional funding in the amount of $10,000 to support the continuation of an expedited processing of vital records for individuals served through the RRC. The unit cost per birth certificate issued is $23.65, with an additional 55 cents for postage, for a total cost of $24.20 per certificate issued. Federal grant funding has been secured and authorized to support reentry activities from the FY 2018 and 2020 Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Abuse Site-Based Grant Programs. Please note the purchase order proof reflects a portion of the award we anticipate will be liquidated during calendar year 2022. Pending any questions, we would seek approval of this resolution.
There are no comments or questions. I'll move approval of Resolution 23722.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 23722 has been adopted.
Thank you all. Have a great
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Next, Public Facilities Management.
Resolution number 23822. Resolution authorizing supplemental appropriations for the Correction Center and Facility Improvement Bond Funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Darla Reardon, Director of Public Facilities Management. The resolution authorizes appropriation adjustments to reconcile various funds. Specifically, this resolution authorizes supplemental appropriations in the Correction Center Bond Fund for anticipated expenses associated with contracts already awarded for the new Correction Center. This request also reconciles appropriations within the Facility Improvement Bond Fund to support completion of projects initiated in 2021 and carried over for completion in 2022. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this resolution.
There are no comments or questions. I'll move approval of Resolution 23822.
One second. This is not pulling up. Can I see yours? This is that one? Yeah, which one? No, 238. Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Resolution number 23822 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next, we have purchasing.
Resolution number 23922. Resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,644,162.74.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry Balanier, Director of Purchasing, and joining me is Marlise Ryan, Economic Equity Administrator in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Commissioners, this resolution requests your approval of 96 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. Marlise, I'll turn it over to you. Good morning.
Good morning and thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. We have for your approval this morning 13 purchase orders presented to award to 2 small and emerging businesses, 1 disadvantaged business, 1 veteran business, and 5 women business enterprises, and finally 4 minority business enterprises, totaling $449,100,088.74. This week, the following agencies provided equitable inclusion to small businesses: Court of Common Pleas, Domestic Relations and Juvenile Court, Economic Development Planning, Engineer's Office, Job and Family Services, Public Facilities Management, Sanitary Engineering, Sheriff's Office, and the Treasurer's Office.
Thank you, Marlise. Pending any questions, Commissioners, we request your approval of this resolution.
There are no comments or questions. I will move approval of Resolution 23922.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Resolution number 23922 has been adopted.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Take care.
Thank you. Next, we have Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 24022. Resolution of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners to convene into executive session for the purpose of matters relative to the emergency response protocols and to confer with the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office concerning pending or imminent litigation.
All right, I will move to convene into executive session to discuss details relative to the security arrangements and emergency response protocols for a public body for a public office, and to confer with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action.
And is there a second?
Oh, I'm
Commissioner?
sorry, second. Yep.
Thank you. Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution number 24022 has been adopted, and we will now convene into executive session. And if you could, just be patient as I get this set up. I appreciate it.
We are not going to be patient.